Welcome back. Dozens of Texas Democrats are preparing to return to the state after temporarily blocking Republican-led redistricting efforts. This comes as the Texas House Speaker is expected to adjourn the first legislative special session later today. In a statement yesterday, State Representative Jean Wu, who leads the Texas House Democrats, said they would start returning if that happens. Wu added that the group is ready to take this fight to the courts. Governor Greg Abbott has said he will immediately call on a new special session once the first one officially ends. Texas Democrats yesterday met virtually with former President Obama, who praised them for their efforts to stop Republican redistricting efforts. And of course, this talk in Texas has spurred other states, blue states, to consider the same. Gavin Newsom in California yesterday held an event to talk about plans there. While doing so, suddenly there was a surge of federal immigration officers, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, who just happened to show up at the same place where Newsom was meeting. And Joe, he said, the governor said that did not think it was a coincidence and said that he would not be intimidated by this show of support from D.C. And we should also mention, Joe. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's
no. I mean, seriously, what are they doing? I mean, this is. I don't know if they're aware of it, but this is America, and the fact that they show up in masks at a political rally. I know, yes, this is ominous. This is that. Blah blah blah. This really just looks stupid. And plays right into Gavin Newsom's hands, plays right into the Democratic Party's hands, and does the exact opposite thing that they would want to do, which is to suggest we're not here for political reasons. We're here, to do our job, to arrest those who are in the country illegally. So, yeah, that was talk about a miss. We got to say also, and you're seeing, it's so interesting, Jonathan, the polls that we're seeing, where you'll see Americans saying, yes, I agree with President Trump on the southern border. I agree that we should make sure that we have legal immigration and not a lot of illegal immigration. And then you look and see approval ratings on immigration, and he's actually upside down in a lot of polls. And the reason why are not the underlying policies, it's the implementation of those policies and ham-fisted attempts to intimidate like that. And people running around again with masks, sunglasses, no identification on them whatsoever. It's not it's not a sight that Americans want to see on the street. Certainly not independents, not swing voters. So it's interesting, of course, they have every right to do their job, and Americans want them to do their job, keeping our borders safe. But that just doesn't make sense. But what you're seeing, bigger picture, let's go 30,000 feet. And what you're starting to see now are Democrats starting to do quite well on generic ballots. In one poll after another, Democrats are taking 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7-point leads in generic ballots. And there's a Politico story saying, that came out yesterday saying, the Democrats, if they squint hard enough, they actually can see a Senate majority. And actually, if it's a wave election, there's no reason why Democrats don't win a state like Maine that both Joe Biden won, I believe, by 9 points, and Kamala Harris won. North Carolina, Roy Cooper, the governor, very popular governor there, is in that race. He's ahead in the polls right now. Democrats have talked Sherrod Brown, an extremely popular populist who ran against a wave in 2024 and lost. They've convinced him to get back in there, and they believe they have an outside shot at Alaska and 1 or 2 other states. So, again, all of this overreach, again, it's disturbing, but it should be concerning to Republicans as well, because they are losing the middle of America when they go around and, again, separate babies from their mothers, have masked men on the streets of college campuses or right off college campuses, grabbing women and throwing them into unmarked cars. It's not something that Americans are comfortable seeing. And that's why, despite the underlying popularity of keeping the southern border safe and secure, Donald Trump right now is upside down in some polls on immigration.
Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why. Images of these Border Patrol agents with masks, showing up at political rallies, which some there deemed to be fascist. Like, that's what this looks like. The Americans, yes, they want the southern border. That's no doubt. But this overreach, moving into communities, pulling out people, that seems to be the problem. So, Gene, the president, he's underwater on a number of issues, including immigration, and there is a growing sense of optimism among Democrats, certainly in the House, and as this Politico piece notes, maybe the Senate. Joe ticked through the states. Maybe you add Iowa to it, maybe Texas. Some of these are reaches. The map's tough, but if things were to break a certain way, they got good candidates. Maybe.
Just maybe. I mean, we've seen this movie before, right? An administration wins with a fairly narrow margin, overinterprets that margin as a huge mandate, overreaches, and then is chastised and punished in the first midterm. We are seeing that now on steroids, I think, at least the first part of that story, and we'll see if we see it in the midterms as well. But I think Democrats feel a whole lot better now than they were feeling a few months ago.
Well, and David Ignatius, what happens? We have seen it in our lifetime several times. Of course, I don't know. I may be older than you. I'm not sure. I'll just say we're old enough to remember 1974 and just a massive landslide. 1980. I remember watching the returns of the 1980 elections, going, "Wait, he lost." Again, it was a complete wave. Some of the safest Democratic senators swept away by the Reagan Revolution. 1986, Ronald Reagan at the height of his powers. Democrats shock Reagan and Republicans, and they take over the U.S. Senate. And then, of course, 1994, I went out after we got our results, and I had won. And I'm talking, and somebody said, "Hey, we just took over the House." And I said, We? What do you mean? We're Republicans. We don't win the House. No, we took over the House and the Senate. It happens in wave elections. And this is why, this again, Republicans need to worry about overreach. And when you have guys in masks and unmarked and wearing sunglasses and they're showing up at political rallies, yes, prime time of MSNBC and the New York Times editorial page will criticize it for good reason. But Republicans aren't just, quote, owning the libs. They're pushing away independents.
So, Joe, there's a fascinating question for Democrats about how they should respond to these people in masks and intimidation and National Guard tanks at the Union Station last night greeting arrivals. Governor Newsom said yesterday that this is a break the glass moment and talked about, ever more extreme ways of challenging what Trump is doing. And it's interesting to me to ask, is that the way to get to, decisive rejection of what Trump is doing, or will that make life easier for Trump? So Democrats have to think very carefully about the best way to fight the kind of actions they're seeing.
All right.